Hello, Farrell and Tally here from Bored of It, and it has, as of today, officially been a year of Bored of It. So we thought we'd have a look back video because it's gone way better than we ever thought, and we've had a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So we thought we could do some behind the scenes. We could show you some dogs sitting here. We could talk about our favorite videos, our review process, and things like that. And first of all, we just want to say thank you so much to obviously everyone that's watched.
Massive thank you.
Yeah, the subscribers, people that have commented. We've built up some very friendly relationships with the community, people on Reddit. Showed a lot of our subscribers are from there. And yeah, it's just been really nice of you to watch us.
Overwhelmingly.
Support us.
Overwhelmingly so, yeah. Really crazy how supportive people can be. And it's really...
Yeah.
Really nice, and we're really happy that you guys seem to be enjoying our videos.
Yeah, that's like when you guys say how you love that we essentially, no matter how much we like a game, we're always honest and fair and we pick it apart and say who it won before. It means a lot to us that people are enjoying that.
Yeah, I think maybe we're getting into the discussion already too quickly, but that never was really... You know, we never set out to particularly do that as a mission, right? But it just seemed to be that, you know, whenever we're making a review, we just evolved almost naturally into this style where, you know, even if we really, really love a game, we do try to say if it has any flaws or faults, even if we really love something, just to give people a really good idea of if it might not be for them or be for them. Even if we don't find that a particular issue, I think it's always good to raise potential issues for people because we really do aim to help people find the right board games for them. That's the goal.
I think also it comes from my background as a scientist because you analyze evidence and data. So, I mean, you have to say, okay, it could be this, but also this is wrong with it. So it very much just brings across that level of balance where you can't ignore something because you don't like it, I think, and that probably comes across.
Yeah, I also do that in my job, but we'll get back to that later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think first we will talk about our review process and just how we go through. So would you like to introduce them to that?
I'd also just like to introduce everyone who don't know.
No.
This is Megan and this is Sven. But maybe we'll talk about them a little bit later on.
Well, we could talk about them now.
Should we do it now?
I mean, that's always the most interesting part. Get it out of the way so people can click off.
Yeah.
But so these are our two rescue dogs, and you can tell them about Meg.
So Megan, she is a Staffordshire Bull Terrier. She is roughly 11 years old now. Oh, I love it when they do stuff like that. She's roughly 11. But I've had her for 10 years. I adopted her before I met Farrell, actually.
Go on, boy.
And she's such a character. She's really crazy, even though she doesn't look it now. She acts more like a puppy than Mr. Sven over here. And Sven, we adopted him in February 2020 from Bulgaria. He was in a shelter there. He was picked up by some very, very lovely people after being found with a shot wound in his face and consequently spent 18 months in the shelter there before we adopted him here in Denmark.
Yep.
So he must be about 4 or 5. Well, we have no idea how old he is. They said he was about 4, but he acts like he's the one that's 11, not Megan.
He's a fat old lazy man.
He's he just wants to sit down the whole time.
Yeah, we also have no idea what breed he is either. He's a mystery. But what's funny is that the lady, had to see if they got on together. And she basically just left him out of our house and never came back. So we just got stuck with another dog.
Yeah, I thought that she would come for an hour or something, let the dogs meet, take him away and say, well, think about it and let me know. Even though they were getting on really, really well. But actually, no, she just said, okay, goodbye. And then suddenly we had another dog. So that was interesting.
It was great because we actually had a bunch of people come around that night to play Scythe.
That's true.
And they just opened the door and then there's just like 2 dogs there and they're like, what is this?
Yeah, but it all worked out in the end. I mean, we were still on a trial period. She would come back and get him if there was any problems, but we just weren't really expecting it. But yeah, super happy we adopted him and they love each other. It's so cute.
But yeah, so you might know them from all of our sketches and our final thought segments because people love dogs. And we thought, would you make the most of them, make them earn their food balls?
They didn't want to be left out.
Yeah.
They wanted to be YouTube stars.
But yeah, so our filming process, we definitely play the games a lot before we review them. We never really skimp on that. And the more complex the game, the more complex and the harder the game, the more we play it.
That's true.
Honestly, a lot of our most played games before review are Cole Whirlies with, I think, Pax Premier and Root. I think we played Root like 17 times and Pax Premier like 10 or 11 before we played. How
it kind of typically goes is if we get a new game that we kind of want to put a review out, we force all of our friends to come round and we just say, look, you're playing this for the foreseeable future and don't even apologise for it. Just not even sorry. They don't mind. Luckily, we have a very good group who are happy to just turn up here and we tell them what they're playing.
Yeah, they're pretty passive.
That works very well for us.
But yeah, so we definitely put a lot of time into it, and it's also very important to us to play it at different player counts. So when we review, I think if we don't really say much about the player count, that means it doesn't change at all. But I think you see in a lot of our reviews, we actually discuss it, what changes, how it tightens, how it loosens, how it feels different. But yeah, we're very much, we would never put out a review that, we'd never play something twice and put a review out of it. It's always like, I would say a base number would be 5 times, but like we said, it just depends. Often it's a lot more.
I think playing maybe as well some of the Cole Whirly games as an example, it really honestly took me 6 games to like that game.
Yeah.
So I think it is important to, play a lot. We'd rather spend the time playing it more and not getting a review out as quick as maybe we could.
Yeah.
But we prefer that we really get the whole rounded experience. And sometimes a game can be a real slow burner, let's say. And to really unlock the secrets, you have to play a bit more than a couple of times. So sometimes maybe we're a bit slower to get them out, but it is important to us that we play the game a lot.
Yeah, it's better than getting the game on a Wednesday and putting a review out on a Saturday or something, right?
Yeah, no. I mean, if we didn't have jobs, we probably would, wouldn't we? Because we would just play all day.
Yeah, but then you also, again, we want to have it at a different player count, so then it becomes a bit harder.
Yeah, then we force our friends to quit their jobs.
Yes, perfect.
If we did that.
We just need to make that much money.
Yeah. I think we've also been lucky since we're doing a year look back, and obviously with everything going on, that here in Denmark there were never too restrictive on how many people you could have to your place. So I know that maybe a lot of other reviewers have struggled with that over the last year, being able to play at more player counts. But we have been really lucky here in Denmark. It was always 10 people that you could have in your private home, and then it got reduced to 5 in December. So obviously that's still more than enough people to be able to play most games. So we have been very, very lucky.
Yeah. So what made us start it, I think, is a good one. And that was literally a joke, I think. Because during the start of lockdown, we just kind of we're in lockdown now, and our best friend who comes around as part of our gaming group, he was around every day pretty much playing board games, so we just started buying more and more because we had more and more free time because we couldn't go anywhere. And it obviously you get the classic joke, which I'm sure everyone's heard, are you going to open a board game cafe? And then we're just no, we're just going to do a YouTube channel. And then we just decided to do it.
But should we do a YouTube channel?
Yeah, it was like that. And then I think we loved Scythe so much because it was this game that introduced us to what board games can be. Like, I just remember us playing it and being like, this is incredible, and it really like blew our minds.
Yeah.
And we had so much fun because the three of us two and that friend, we basically stayed here in Denmark for Christmas and none of us went home. And he's also international. And we just spent this Christmas together, like eating and drinking and being merry playing Scythe till like 3 a.m. every night. And we couldn't get enough of it. So our first video was a Scythe review, just mainly to express our love for this game, how much it means to us, and like how it started this entire journey of like board gaming.
Yeah.
And then we went from there basically, and it just kept going. And then it's really fun to engage with the community. I think you love running the Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah, shout out to my Instagram account. Follow it if you're not already at Board of It Reviews. Yeah, I really love to document on the Instagram. I try to post most days because we're playing something most days. And I quite like the visual element there of, making the board game look really nice and posting a little photo. And it's also nice. One reason why I really love it is because sometimes in our conversations we'll say, oh, what did we play on that day? And I'm like, let me check the Instagram, and I can exactly see what we were playing each day, which is maybe a bit sad, but whatever.
I think you're talking to the wrong crowd. I don't think anything could be sad with board games.
Yeah.
That's a great part in the community.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's kind of how it got started, and then it's gone from there. And it's just, I guess it's just a passion project. It's like a creative outlet for us, I think.
Yeah.
It's something we really enjoy, and it keeps us like active and gives us something to do, and it's engaging. And we really enjoy just talking to people about board games.
Yeah, one of my favourite parts is when we put a video out and have people comment on the video and say, have you thought about this game? Have you tried this?
Yeah, exactly.
On the back of what we've posted. Just really gives me a sense of satisfaction to have that engagement after posting a video. So
yeah, it's just, I think it's fun and it's interesting because when we started doing it, it was like, is this something we're going to keep up? Are we going to will it become too much work or too tough? And we've just really like got on with it and never thought about it.
Yeah, we've built it into our weekly routine now, I think.
Yeah.
Haven't we? Always like, okay, filming night.
Yeah. It's just interesting that I really thought there'd be times where I'd be like, oh, this is too much, or oh, people aren't watching. But we've just had, like, it goes up and down, but we've had really good viewership. And then we always get to these points where we put out one video and it gets like crazy amount of views for us, and then we're really happy, and then we can like be happier doing some games that don't get as many views but we want to talk about.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just never thought about it really. But so let's move on to the videos. And what is your favorite video?
I find this really tough because I'm thinking, but favorite in what sense? Probably our first best board games for 2 players, not specifically designed for 2 players video.
That's a good one.
Just really overwhelmed by how many views we got on that one. It was by far our best
subs as well.
Views,
we got
and
loads of
we
subs.
got a lot of subscribers from that video, and I think just quite proud of it because, as we said in that video, there are a lot of videos or lists about the best 2-player games. And it didn't seem to be so easy to find information on games that we enjoy to play it too, but you can scale just as well at higher player counts. So I was quite proud that we talked about that concept, and I was so happy that a lot of people seemed very happy that we made a video about that. Like, just what I was looking for. Thanks, guys. And I think that was really satisfying.
Yeah, I mean, it was by far our best video at that point for like half a year afterwards as well.
Yeah.
Just gave us a real boost. But yeah, I think...
What's your favourite video?
It might actually be... I realised after I asked it, I don't really have one.
Yeah, it's really hard because...
But in a similar vein, I think our Oath video, which is more recent, is maybe my favourite. Not for the game or for... I think it was just that... Europe got the game early and we managed to play it a lot, and we got the video out. I'm just like very proud of the video, and also that got a really big viewership, and it like was one of only 2 reviews out on Oath for a long time. So everyone had to watch it or watch the other one. And I just really liked the lovely comments we got, and it's just really like people being like, this is a really great review, like I can see what you mean and I agree with everything. Or it's just always nice to get those comments, like we were saying earlier, where people are like, you've said there's problems, but I think they're totally fair and I agree with you, but I still love this game or whatever. And that's really nice to hear.
Yeah, I think it was really nice that I feel like we helped a lot of people make a decision on Oath. Because, I mean, it is an expensive game, and from our comments in our video, we really feel it's not going to be enjoyed by everyone. And you really need a certain type of group to enjoy it.
Yeah, I wish we had that type of group.
We had a lot of comments just saying, thanks, you really helped me make a decision on this game. Either way, either go for it or not go for it. And that makes me really happy that we can help people make a decision, because there's so many great games out there. It's better for people to buy the games that they're going to play, not going to be stuck on the shelf all the time.
Do you mind?
And that their group is going to enjoy. So if we can help people do that, then that makes me happy.
Okay, next one, most underrated video.
Well, I know what you're going to say.
No, well, you go first then. That you think, so underrated in terms of that we think people should watch it. And that we're proud of it, I guess, that it didn't get watched as much as we think it should, or...
Well, at the time, it was Viticulture.
Yeah.
And I understand because it's a bit of an older game. I believe it just turned 8, so it's not like it's that interesting.
We also had a lot of trouble on Reddit, though, because we get a lot of views from Reddit, and then we had trouble.
Yeah, we were really proud of the video, and then it just didn't really do anything for us. And I mean, kind of fair because it's an older game, but people were actively a little bit mean about it. Yeah. Not on YouTube, mostly on Reddit. But
not about the video. It was like, people were just being rude, like in the comments, basically.
Yeah. So that was a shame, because I think it was actually quite a fun video. Yeah. And I really like Viticulture is probably one of my favorite games. It's definitely in the top 10. And there was just some really hilarious doggo bits in there. So I was sad that not many people watched that. But that being said, it's done okay for views in the end.
Yeah, it's gone up and up and up. So it's
when we
fine.
first released it.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about yours?
Why don't you tell them then what mine is?
It's Watergate.
Yeah, I just think that I really enjoy Watergate as a game, and it just didn't do that well. And to be fair, like now that I think we didn't have mics and things at that time, maybe the lighting, so I think the production quality isn't as good and the sound isn't as good as the more recent ones. So it's a bit hard to recommend it now, I guess. Because obviously you kind of wish that you'd had good sound from the start, but then it's catch-22 of there's no point investing money to then have no one watch it and tell you you're crap. So, but Watergate was one that really didn't do very well. And I don't know, I really like the game, and I really like the review. I think there were some funny bits in it, and I think that it was like short, sharp, to the point. I think it's one of the shortest videos we've done. Yeah. But I just think it was really like an excellent example of what we do, with like a bit of humor. It was very concise. It didn't overstay its welcome, and it's like a great game. Yeah. But so that'll be mine.
Yeah, that's a shame. But go watch Watergate maybe, but please ignore the horrible tinny sound.
I don't think it was that bad, but it's not as good as having actual sound.
No.
So I think next, worst video.
Oh my God. I mean, it's Wingspan.
Wingspan.
We feel like we don't even want to draw people's attention to this because it was really quite poor. In our defense, it was only our second video. So we did Scythe and then we did Wingspan.
Yeah, I think the issue was we actually did surprisingly well when we released Scythe, and we got like a decent amount of subscribers and people were really nice and supportive. And so we kind of wanted to capitalize on the momentum and get a review out like a week later. And we just rushed it, I think.
Yeah.
The problem was back then as well, we had no real system. Everything took 3 or 4 times as long. It was much tougher to do. Like we couldn't film it in one session.
Yeah.
It was a bit of a nightmare actually. And because people said, like you should invest in a mic, we did. And it just wouldn't work with the camera. And so we had to use it like with another device. And then, so we had different sound recording to the video and we had to match it. And anyway,
I'm cringing inwardly now.
It was just a bit of a night. Everything took longer. And like trying to get out in a week at that point was tough.
Yeah.
And so it just wasn't that great. And it's like the only one I'm actively like almost would want to reshoot it, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I think the content, I think what we say is fine. It's not that. It's literally just the quality.
It's the production, right?
And yeah, so like the sound switches from normal to like the microphone at one point, like a minute in, and yeah, it's not our best work.
It's not. That is one thing I'm also like quite proud of, is the improvement in the production quality. If you look at the first video to where we are now, and I'm sure there's still some improvements we could make, but
100%.
happy that we were able to improve.
But you're always learning and like getting quicker, and then if you get quicker, you have more time to do funnier things, and it should play around a bit more really. But yeah. Then, okay, what is your favourite sketch? Dog sketch or otherwise?
I did quite like the one where, it's making me laugh thinking about it, where Sven was an airship pilot in Cloud Age.
Cloud Age. I nearly said Curious Cargo.
That was pretty funny. I think he looked like a real cool guy, airship
he looked pretty
pilot.
Fun.
I think he had some aviator shades on and the scarf with the wire in it, like in the old movies. That was quite funny. My favourite doggo costume was in Polis, where Sven was a Spartan.
Not the butterfly wings. I think that was the people's favourite in Mariposas.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that one. Yeah, that was the people's favourite. Everyone loved the little butterfly wings.
We still have them,
I made
actually.
out of cardboard and coloured in with felt tip pens. It was really low rent, but people thought it was cute. I mean, it was cute.
I think it took you longer to colour those in than it did to film the entire
Spent ages
video
colouring in those butterfly wings. So I'm actually really glad people appreciated the butterfly wings.
Yeah.
What about you?
I honestly think that I have to cheat and say I think the funniest video or sketches, or not funniest, sorry, but it's like the start of Lost in Varnak, because there's like 3 different sketches that all make me laugh so hard. There's like the scientician one, there's you under the Christmas tree, and there's me just chasing Sven around, calling him a guardian.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
I just like, it just really cracks me up, all of those sketches. I just like watching that intro over and over. It makes me laugh.
I also liked the doggo part in Kanban EV, when you, Sven, and Megan were workers, and I was Sandra telling you to get back to work. That was fun.
Yeah, I'm always sad actually when a game is so obtuse that you can't really write anything funny for it.
Yeah.
It's a bit like Pipeline, and I'm like, the problem is not really the theme so much as the game is incredibly abstract. Like you just have little cubes that you're shuffling around and building pipes.
I remember Tapestry, we couldn't fit anything funny or couldn't fit any doggo parts in because it just nothing seemed to fit, because it's like, what do you do?
Because again, the theme's really abstract. You need something like in the game. Like with Kanban EV, great example, it's funny because you have mean Sandra going around and yelling at you and penalising you. You can like imagine it. Whereas like, how do you imagine a civilization that invents the air conditioner before fire in Tapestry?
That's true. Yeah. What other ones are there? I thought it was funny when the dog sat on the board on New York Zoo. That was pretty funny. I mean, all the bits.
Not for me, I think.
Why?
I don't think it's the funniest. I wouldn't highlight it.
No, it wasn't the funniest, that it was cute. I mean, anything that the dogs do, in my opinion, is super cute.
Yeah, you spend hours just staring at them, taking photos.
They're so cute.
But yeah, okay. So we've played a lot of games over the last year. So what games have you disliked?
Disliked.
Yeah, like really wouldn't want to play again.
June.
June.
Straight away. That's one of my worst games. I don't have that many games of ours that I actively would never want to play again.
A lot of people will be mad at you.
June is one of them.
A lot of people will be mad.
Not Dune Imperium. Love Dune Imperium. I'm talking actual classic Dune. Not for me. I famously don't like area control, and that's all that is. Although I did grow to enjoy Dune the last time we played because I played as the house where
then I guess it.
Yeah, that one. If you predict who's going to win and in what round, then you win instead. By some miracle, I actually predicted it. So I was pretty buzzing about that. It went up in my estimation after.
Yeah, that was so nice because we had a huge game, didn't we? It was on my birthday last year, and with 6 players, and it was really that we went like 3-3 alliances. It was an absolute bloodbath. Then we all split off, and I think at the end of the game, I backstabbed. I backstabbed my team, which was you and Vahab, to form an alliance with Costas because we both had the most power and win together. And then we won, and then you won because you predicted it.
So happy
you predicted I would win in that round. And Costas was so mad. He was so...
It's not a short game either. No. And to be done over like that at the end is a pretty devastating.
He was just like, I can't believe this is how it's ended.
Yeah. What else? There's nothing that I actively...
No, at least you had one that you jumped to.
What about you?
Seventh Continent.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't a fan of that either.
Seventh Continent. It's a game that I almost want to play, but it frustrates me so much when I play because I find it so just unfun.
Yeah,
I'm just like, the theory is fun and like the act of playing it is somehow interesting, but just playing it is not fun.
Yeah.
It's frustrating and stupid and yeah, but I think I wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, I think I do dislike it, but because I played it a lot recently actually to try and get back into it, and I'm just like, nope. One that I don't hate it, but like complete ambivalence towards it that I just never want to play again would be Architects of the West Kingdom.
Oh yeah.
That was just something that was so monotonous and like bland to me that I just didn't.
Yeah. Disappointing because a lot of people love it.
It wasn't even disappointing. I just played it. I'm like, oh, and then I was just like, that. I just have no interest.
Yeah,
it's a weird. It's a really weird one. Actually, I just have no feeling towards it.
That's on our.
Yeah, I can't think of many. Like we bought a lot of games, and actually, there's not really many I regret, if any. So.
No, can't think of any actually.
Yeah.
But then you buy most of them, so I can't really complain too much.
I think one thing that would be interesting to talk about is it's actually quite interesting which videos do well. That's something that's quite surprising because sometimes a video will just do really well and then other times a game that should equally or more that we're talking about, that video should do well and it doesn't. So like Mariposas was our best video for a very long time. And I think it was the first video we got 1,000 views in like the first day. And it's just very interesting that that's a game that people like weren't that bothered about when it came out. No one's really talked about it since. Like it's not got a lot of coverage, particularly. I think because it's a lighter game. Well, oh yeah. You know what I mean, though. It's like I don't think a lot of people.
I guess it wasn't hotly hyped. Yeah. I mean, it was nice. It's a nice game, and a lot of people really, really like it. But it's not one of them ones that's everyone's talking about, right? Yeah,
but it's just that it did so well, and you have other games like I don't know. Just an example, like you had the Crew, right, which everyone was talking about when we did our review, and I think it's doing okay now, but at the time it didn't do very well either. I just find it interesting, really.
Yeah.
It's sometimes really hard to predict how well a video will do. Sometimes really random ones will. Looking back now, Forgotten Wars did really well at the time, and I was really happy with that review. But looking back, I'm very surprised it did as well as it did.
It was a bit of a surprise one for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. All right. So do you think you've learned anything doing this?
No.
Well, that's that then.
No, sorry, I'm just not a very philosophical type of person. What have you learned?
How to whip everyone at board games.
Ugh, that is such a typical Farrell response.
Yeah, as I think we draw to a close, one thing I'd like to say, just about board game space in general. So I think you should never be scared about the weight of a board game if you want to try it. I think way too much emphasis is put on the weight of a board game and people gate themselves out. And we really hit the ground running playing heavier, more complex games. Yeah. I think you can always learn a game if you know, I know people won't want to play games, and that's not what we're talking about if it's heavy or something. Like, there's no point making your mother play Twilight Imperium, right? But if you're interested in a game, I wouldn't be scared. I think, like, the difficulty on Board Game Geek, which is a classic way of ranking them, is so different in different types of game. Pipeline is actually rated higher than PAX Premier, 2nd edition. And PAX Premier is so incredibly complex and difficult to learn. And the nuances and the sub-rules and the tactics. Yeah. And then Pipeline's actually very straightforward. It's just hard to do well and not trip yourself up.
I think some games fall under the category easy to learn but difficult to master.
Yeah.
I think PAX Premier, apart from the sub-rules, but what you actually do is easy, right? You put some blocks on a map, but to actually master how to play the game is where the difficulty comes in, whereas other games might be the other way around. Will have a lot of complexity in what you're doing and lots going on, but then actually is a simple game. So I think it can really depend. Yeah,
I think that just don't worry about it. Just I think just give it a go if it's something that you want to play, and it might take some time and it might be difficult, but once you've learnt it, you've learnt it.
Yeah, and what I find interesting, maybe this is maybe only come across this in like Vital Lacerda games, but complexity doesn't necessarily mean that the game is long either.
Yeah.
So with his games, they are complex and they have a lot of cascading effects, which is a lot of where the complexity comes in. But actually, now we know on Mars, as an example, we can get a game in like an hour and a half. So
setup is a bit of a beast, but yeah.
Yeah, but the actual game, it's not a slog. It's not long just because it's complex. So, maybe if that's something, because I know that's something that some people worry about, the length of a game and it being too much and making it hard to get to the table, right?
But yeah, that would be my bored of it take home message. Do you have one? Or are you not philosophical still?
I would actually say with some games, try to persevere.
That's a good one.
Particularly with those ones
that's a good one.
That I was just mentioning that are easy to learn. They're not always easy, but easier to learn but difficult to master. Like I said earlier, PAX Premier, it really took me 5 or 6 games to get into it because I just hadn't understood what the strategy was for, why you would do certain things, and it really took playing at different player counts and in different scenarios, having different cards in my hand. And it just suddenly clicked after that many games. So, and same with Oath as well. Really took me a lot of games to have that feeling of want to play it again.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes just if you can try to persevere with certain games because something might unlock for you, and then you can enjoy the game.
I think that's the thing. I mean, it's important to know that obviously not everyone will maybe have that time and that chance to play PAX Premier 6 times.
Yeah.
And that can be a barrier. But you're right in that I think sometimes it's that weird one, right? You're right. I 100% agree, and I think that's something we very much agree on. That we always say that Oath or Pax Mira, you need to play this X amount of times, and that's how it is. And not everyone can do that or want to do that, or say, you know, my time is precious and I'm not enjoying this on the second play. Why would I keep doing it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's that thing, and I think sometimes if it's a complex game, maybe it's definitely worth giving it a go, because yeah, Pax Mira I think is one of the best designed games. Like, it's an excellent sandbox, things you can do within it. I think it's a really, really wonderful, well-designed game. Might not be one of my favorite games, but I think it's one of the best designed games I've ever played, and it will only come across after playing. You could say the same with like Root as well. I mean, Root's been wildly popular, so I think that's less of an issue. But Root, you have to play so many times to be able to enjoy it almost.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, that's a good one. All right, so shall we wrap it up?
What about that Ask Me Anything?
Oh yeah, that's what we can do, the Ask Me Anything then.
Got a few questions.
Go on then, get up the questions.
It's very professional method of getting the questions. All right, so we have one here from Patrick on Instagram. Thanks for your question. So I just discovered your channel. What videos of yours do you think I should...
Ideally.
Every single one, of course.
Yeah, well, that's actually a bit of a hard one without knowing what games Patrick likes.
Maybe the list type videos that we have, because that would be an introduction into what kind of games that we like to talk about.
Yeah, that's true. But then I guess you could also argue it's not our like main content, so maybe it's not.
It's not the main content, that's true. But I think we do gravitate towards a certain type of game. Yeah. So it will give you an overview of what games that we have in our collection, and a lot of the ones that we talk about in the list videos, such as 9 great drink and board game pairings, or best board games for two, not designed for two. Not all of them, but many of them we do have reviews on. So
yeah, I would say actually things like Eclipse or Lost Ruins of Arnak, ones like that, just because I think they both have comedy moments in them, but they also show I guess our analysis, because in both, I think we're a little harder on Lost Ruins of Arnak, and a lot of people really love that game. It's won loads of awards now. But we were maybe not so impressed with it, and we gave a very like balanced review on that. And Eclipse as well. I really love Eclipse. And even there, we're like, these are things that people are going to hate. And I think those just show, I think they're two good examples of what we can do.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say.
Good answer.
Right.
I've got a question here from someone called Farrell, and they say, why is Farrell so handsome? What a strange question.
I didn't know anyone else shared the same name as me.
That's funny, that, isn't it?
Genetics would be the way, and great hair.
Yeah. Anyway, another question from Board Games and Whiskey UK over on Instagram. Go and follow them. We have good conversations with them over on Instagram, and also Board Games and Whiskey, two things right up our street. So what's your favourite whiskey while playing a board game? Any? Is that an answer?
Yeah, I mean, you got to tailor it, like we say in our board game video, board game and drink pairing video. But, yeah, I don't know. We
do tend to, try to make pairings, even down to specific types of whiskey, right? If we're playing Clans of Caledonia, you want something Scottish. Or if we're playing Irish Gauge, maybe we'll have an Irish whiskey. Yeah,
I think a good standard is, I'm quite a fan of Jameson as a really like basic, not thinking about it, whiskey to drink. Otherwise, if you're playing, say, Great Western Trail, then bourbon I'm a big fan of. Something like Woodford Reserve, Four Roses. One of the issues is that it's somewhat limited here in Denmark where you can get a hold of.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are two that I'm a big fan of.
Good answer. I mean, I just drink whatever you give me. I'm not the whiskey connoisseur in this house.
Yeah, I mean,
more of a gin connoisseur.
Favorite is probably like Lagavulin 16.
Yeah.
Anything PT really. But then that's definitely not for everyone. So
It's not for me. Yeah, I don't like
maybe not for every game either. You don't want to be drinking that and playing Uno.
And if I was to give you lots of Lagavulin, would it make me more likely to win?
You know that's not
It's
true.
the opposite.
It's the opposite.
It unlocks the brain
more I
juices.
drink, the more powerful I grow. I'm surprised that none of you have stopped playing Scythe with me when I drink.
Yeah, that is true. Actually, you get better at the game somehow. But
It's
then,
because
then we're all usually drinking as well. Maybe there's something there.
I think my higher function shut down, and I just autopilot Scythe. My like lower brain analyzes the optimization puzzle and just does things.
Interesting. Okay, I've got a couple of questions from Michael. Could you share anything about what your day jobs are? You alluded to yours in the beginning.
No, you can go first then.
So I work in e-commerce optimization, which let's just sum it up as trying to manipulate people to buy more stuff online. Basically using data and analytics to run different experiences on a website to make a better customer shopping journey and get people to buy more stuff at a higher rate.
No, what's wrong since then?
E-commerce personalization for a retailer.
And I am a normal scientist.
A normal scientist.
Yes. I'm
As opposed to an
evil.
normal scientist.
Evil? No, an evil one.
Right.
Haven't quite got there yet.
Okay.
I'm a postdoc. I work in skin disease research. And yeah, I mean, it's just science stuff, really. I create 3D models of the skin. I make a disease model. I study it. But yeah.
Cool. And then another one from Michael. What was the first game you played as a couple? And what drink would you pair with that game today? Well, we were having a little discussion about this before we started filming, and we came to the conclusion that it just must have been a game of Uno.
Yeah, Uno, I think.
Nothing exciting. What would I pair with that now? Can you really pair anything with Uno? Or rather, can you pair anything specific with Uno? I'd pair a drink. Sven, what's the matter?
I think the thing that would pair with Uno would be like a dirty pint.
Yeah.
Whoever loses does
bite.
that. Yeah, snake bite would be a good one.
For anyone who doesn't know what a snake bite is, it's half cider and half lager, sometimes topped up with some blackcurrant squash.
And in the UK, it's banned in a lot of pubs because they think it makes people fight.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's entirely true.
I'll have to science that out.
Yeah, do that as a science project. Yeah. I think that's it for questions.
Okay, well, we will wrap this up then and say thank you again to watching us. What we would like to know is what kind of content would you like to see in the future? In terms of, because we've done, would you want to see the kind of list things we do more stuff like the what we played, more informal discussions about games, reviews. But yeah, please let us know.
Yeah.
We're always looking to do new things or interesting things. We have an idea for a list of pairing music with board games.
Yeah.
And some good playlists for certain games. Things like that. Could always do another best 2-player games list.
Yeah, I think we should also do another drinks pairing list, actually.
Yeah, 100%.
I think we've got some more games since then and more ideas, so let's do an update.
But yeah, so please let us know. And thank you so much for watching and supporting us.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.